Welcome. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make a miniature camshaft out of a piece of bar stock. I'm going to show you how the phases I go through to get to that evolution of the final camshaft. First of all, I start out with a piece of 4130 stress-proof certified bar stock. I machine it for the bearing areas on both ends, and I machine all the separations in the cams for the cams here. I identify the cam bearing locations, and then I have a machine. I put it in the machine, and I'm going to show you how I get to this point right here. Hope you enjoy our video. Thank you. This is a camshaft grinder that I developed to make my little model engine camshafts. This was originally designed by a gentleman, it was Gene Switzer, out of Strictly IC magazine. We did a lot of modifications to it. We can grind V8 camshafts. I used two patterns right here on the rotating device here. One's the exhaust valve. The other one's the intake. The lobe split is generated right here. There's 115 degrees lobe split between the center line of this one, the intake, and the center line of the exhaust. And the way I dial off my degree on to get my firing order is the degree wheel that we generated on the spindle of the grinding machine. The black lobes are the exhaust, the red ones are the intake. So that would be number 2 and number 1 is in the front section here. This would be 3 and 4. This is 5 and 6, and this is 7 and 8 back in this section. The grooves in the camshaft are where the oil goes around and goes down to the main bearings in the main engine block. This camshaft is for the Black Widow V8, and it's being developed. It should be a revolutionary engine. The reason why I put paint on the camshaft is so I can see and identify when I'm down at the cleanup cut, because it's just going to clean up on the major diameter of the camshaft. That's what I want. That'll give me the crown. I'm taking approximately 5 thousandths per cut here. I'm using a micrometer dial. And this is a Delrin foot I used to follow my patterns. There's the cam we just ground from the pattern right here. Right here. So they look kind of like each other. Anyway, to move to the next item, you got to dial your micrometer dial back in, and then the machine has a lead screw that I can move the wheel over to the intake valve, and then I just take the patterns, I move them to the location like that. Lock it down, turn it on. Okay, after grinding the exhaust valve right here, grinding the intake, it generated the lobe split between here and here. That's number 2. This is number 1. This is number 1 exhaust, number 2, number 1 intake. That's what I'll index this head right here. On the next cam location for the exhaust valve, it's number 1, which is 0, top dead center. I will set my cam grinder at 0 and grind the intake and the exhaust in the same way I did on cam lobes for cylinder number 1 and number 2, right here. And then what I do is I move this cam pattern right here. It moves up and down on a flat that's ground onto this shaft that we made for the cam grinder, and when we made a flat bottom set screw here so it'll locate positively every time. So when you tighten it up, locate it over the cam lobe right here that you got to grind, and then turn the machine on and grind the pattern on there, and then move to the intake side, which is on this side of the, which is on the other side, opposite side of the exhaust valve. This is a plan that I drew up of the exhaust valve locations for a V8 engine. It shows like number 1 is 0, number 2 is 225, number 3 is 135, and the way I got this information was from a tool that I made, exhaust valve location. So I made this tool, and you read the degree wheel here and it tells you what the grinding exhaust valve at what degree. So it would be, number 1 would be 0, and the next one index would be 8, which is a V8 engine. So you would look on a V8, because this is even side, this is odd side, and you would look on here and it would say 315. So you would grind your lobes like that, and that's how I came up with the locations of this of the V8 engine that I'm making. And this is a drawing of the location of the exhaust and intake valves down through there. Hey, thanks for looking at the tutorial. The next tutorial we'll have is how to machine the ends for the cam bearings and the distributor gear, and the other end is going to have the timing gear on it. We'll show you how to install the camshaft in the model engine, set the timing, and eventually down the road you're going to see the first start.